Episode 35 is done. Went to Orleans, Louisiana. Got to speak with Leslie Heindel. Tongue twister, not really, but it did. Super interesting city.
Yep.
That was it? That's what you got? We got a yep.
Super interesting. One of the biggest, hugest takeaways is that Louisiana is not all Bourbon Street. So let's just clear that up. Mardi Gras is a family event, parades. But I think the biggest thing that hit me was talking about Airbnbs within the city. They outlawed them. There was a huge thing, and I'm talking, this is recent, just last month, last year, a couple months ago. They outlawed Airbnbs, no more, gone. They were going in there and just creating havoc. Being a party city was creating a lot of problems. So Airbnbs wiped out, no more. New Orleans, there's none.
You have to, all of what was an Airbnb now has to be owner occupied. So if there is an Airbnb in what they call a double, which is basically our duplex, the owner has to live there.
Pesh was a seafood place that was highly recommended, and Gris.
Gris is the southern soul food that Leslie recommends. I put her on my bucket list, so she is my number 3 on my bucket list. She's taking me to lunch.
There you go. Bucket list is filling up. We did touch on Hurricane Katrina there, which I could tell was a little bit tough for her to talk about, but it is an important factor there because it is something that stands out there in regards to a devastating thing. But flooding is an issue. That is one of the top questions people ask when they go there. So just know that flooding there is common. It's something you should be prepared for.
Yes.
And it's like moving to California for earthquakes. I mean, there's no controlling it. There's really nothing you could do. If it happens, it happens. I mean, it's...
On the upside, though, the devastation of what did happen with Katrina is very, very rare.
Yep.
They usually get tropical storms. Yes, they are bad, but they're usually not what Katrina brought. So,
Nope.
We do appreciate her touching on that subject. We know it's a hard one, but we got through that conversation just fine.
Yep. And LSU is a big one. Healthcare is a big one out there. Shell and Chevron, they make up
really big employers.
They make up a lot of it. The commute is not bad. So Louisiana, New Orleans, really interesting. Price points vary. I mean, it's really hard to touch on all price points, but they do have a nice luxury market. So not a lot to point out real estate wise. I mean, they have their zones that are a little more expensive than others for the flooding areas. Given an area is a little bit cheaper if it's built higher. So something to take into consideration. And yeah, no, it was just a fun conversation. She is amazing. There's so much going on there. We didn't even really touch on what everybody knows, but she definitely wanted to clarify. Louisiana is just not all Mardi Gras. It's very family friendly, or not all Bourbon Street-ish, what people assume. But it was pretty awesome.
After the podcast, I actually I asked her a few questions, and I told her that I was going to touch on them on the video. So, one, the voodoo thing is a real thing out there. You got the voodoo and the hoodoo. I know that they are different. Hoodoo is good juju, voodoo is bad juju, basically. And they don't bury their dead
Below
in the ground.
They are below sea level. So that was another interesting fact that wasn't on the podcast. You only hear first. But it is hard to touch on everything in a short podcast. It's not time consuming or too long to listen to. But we appreciate your guys' support. Check it out. Leslie, New Orleans, episode 35 is done. The podcast is below. Feel free, check it out. If you have any questions about the area, hit her up. She's full of information. And if you like what we're doing, please show some support. Like, comment, follow. We love the feedback. And please feel free to share it amongst the friends. The Pore Team, out.